What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cajun Chef. Today we're going to cook creamy chicken noodle soup. I know everybody, you've always heard the myth that says, hey, if you have somebody in your family that's sick, give them chicken noodle soup. It does have curative powers. Well, we're going to investigate that a little bit more throughout this episode. We want to start off with medium egg noodles. So there's 2 cups of egg noodles. You want to follow the instructions minus a little bit of time. We don't want them fully cooked through. We still want a little white on the edges. This is right about perfect. So we're going to drain that, leave a little bit of water at the bottom, and put it on the side. So yeah, back to what I was saying. Dr. Stephen Renard, 1990s, he decided he was going to check and see, he was going to do some research and find out, does chicken noodle soup actually have curative or healing powers? 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We're going to add 1 medium onion chopped, roughly a cup and a third. Another cup and a third of celery, or 3 stalks, and 3 carrots chopped. I like them sliced pretty thin. I find they do better. And we want to stir this for about between 4 and 6 minutes. This is they're going to get really soft, really aromatic. Your house is gonna start to smell really good, believe me. Back what I was saying. So, chicken broth came around by the ancient Greeks. They believed it had curative powers for anything from the cold, bedwetting, to leprosy. Noodle broth has been around for centuries, since the 1200s in Asia. Well, Campbell's in 1934 put those 2 together. They first called it noodles with chicken soup. We want to add 3 cloves of garlic, minced, and between a third of a cup and a half a cup of parsley, your preference. Parsley is an herb. It adds a lot more aromatic. It adds a hint of flavor that you'll miss if it's not in there. So the parsley is really important. If you can't get fresh, get dried. But Dr. Renard in the 1990s did research and proved that there are a lot of things, sorry, my voice cracked, that proved that there are a lot of things in chicken noodle soup that will cause or will allow for healing to take place. I want to add 2.5 cups of chicken stock. You can use chicken broth or chicken stock. I like chicken stock because it's made with actual chicken bones by boiling them down. We also want to add 2 bay leaves. But when you boil down chicken bones, any meat bones, you have collagen. The collagen is good for, you get collagen along with a bunch of other nutrients. You also get a lot of nutrients from the vegetables that you make in the stock, as well as vegetables you put in the chicken noodle soup. So we're adding right here 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of white pepper, and 1 teaspoon of salt. If you make the chicken stock yourself, go with 1 teaspoon of salt. If you buy the chicken stock and it's not sodium, it's not low sodium or sodium free, you may want to add less salt and then taste later and add salt as you need. You will season the taste later anyway. 1 pound of chicken breast. We're going to boil those. So what we're going to do is this is going to sit. We're going to boil this for between about 15 to 20 minutes. We're going to let the chicken get really, really cooked. And while I'm stirring that, let's go back into what I was saying. So the nutrients, the nutrient dense broth that you're making right here actually has been tested to increase your immune system, to give you a boost. It also helps with your joints and things like that from the collagen in the bones. So, believe it or not, chicken noodle soup does not necessarily heal you, but it does aid your body in strengthening your body to be able to fight off whatever you have. Yeah, I think that's where it mostly comes from. So now that this has been boiling for 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to take out all the chicken. Give it a good stir. And if you know what, you just want to. It smells amazing. Like the broth, the parsley, all of these flavors just meld, and it just smells amazing. And once you make this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It smells great. So set this aside, and you want to shred it. The chicken out. Give it a good stir. If you don't want to make a creamy chicken noodle soup, you would stop really close to here, and you'd add your noodles back. But we're going to make a creamy chicken noodle soup. So we're going to add 4 tablespoons of butter, which is 1/4 cup. And we're going to add, get that melted. Then we're going to add 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons. So we're going to actually go with a little, it's kind of like a bechamel, but it's a little bit more flour to butter ratio. Get that stirred. We're going to stir this for 2 or 3 minutes. What's stirring the flour, the oil coats the flour so it doesn't clump. But cooking the flour over a medium heat, like I'm doing, it's actually medium low right now, but I'm going to kick it up here in a minute. Cooking it over medium heat, what that allows it to do is you're actually cooking out the flour taste. So you're not going to taste the flour. It's just going to be a good, rich, and creamy sauce. So we're going to stir that for about 2 to 3 minutes. We don't want it to get dark because we're still trying to make a white sauce. And this is actually a bechamel. It's the base of a bechamel sauce, which is one of the 5 French mother sauces. I use this same exact recipe when I'm making creamy Alfredo or chicken noodle or any kind of creamy pastas, macaroni and cheeses. But I make a Mornay sauce by adding cheese to it. That's another episode. I'll make that later. But now it's about ready. We're going to add 2 cups of milk. The key to this is to add cold milk. If you add warm milk, it tends to, you'll have to stir a lot longer for some reason to break up the clumps. But you'll see. Once we add this in here, you'll see what I'm saying. And 1/4 cup of flour, that will thicken. It's going to thicken more because it's a light roux. Another thing about roux, the lighter your roux, the thicker the roux is going to be. The darker the roux, the thinner the roux is going to be. So this is going to thicken up really nice. I think we're about ready. So we're going to add it in parts. I always like to add it a little bit at a time. Get it mixed in really good. And then I switch to a spatula because the spoon starts throwing milk everywhere, and I don't like the idea of milk flying all over the place, especially when it's scalding. So we're going to add, we're going to mix this first. You're going to stir for a while to get it, make sure it's fully incorporated. So I'm going to bump it up to about medium-high heat. Now we're going to add, this is optional. You can add 1/3 cup of heavy cream. I actually did and didn't video it. I apologize about that. But once you add a 1/3 cup of cream, stir it a little bit more, and then add it to your chicken noodle soup. There's no need. You don't want the heavy cream to really start sticking to the bottom. Milk will stick to the bottom if you have it too high for too long. It'll stick. All right, now that we got the cream sauce added to the chicken noodle broth, we're gonna add the shredded chicken back. You can shred or chop it. I just put mine on the cutting board and pass a few times with a knife. And all right, yeah, let's take the bay leaves out. They've let go all of their juices, so they're done. I put 2 of them, so now we're gonna quest to find the second one. There it is. All right, let's set that aside. Now that we have the bay leaves out, we're gonna stir it a little bit more and add the noodles. And this is where the noodles are gonna continue cooking until they're done. I leave it on medium, cover it. It is as delicious as it looks. It really is. All right, now that it is fully stirred, you're pretty much done. So this is what it looks like when it's done. Same pictures I showed you in the beginning. It is very, very good. Very, very good for you, as we discussed earlier. I suggest trying this recipe. You're going to love it. If you like this recipe and you want to see others, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.